That's dead. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another pre-market watch list here this morning. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Appreciate it. So, as always, we got a couple stocks to take a look at. So, if you guys take a peek at the title of the video, you will come to find that those are going to be a couple of the stocks that we're following throughout the day. So Roku is most likely going to be the number one stock on the watch list for me today. Primarily short bias on that one as of right now. What's going on, WizardCon? Welcome, welcome. So we'll wait a few minutes here till we get some more people in the stream before we get going and start looking at these stocks before, because next thing you know, then they're going to ask questions about what happened, and we already went over it, and you guys already know how that goes. So we'll give it another couple seconds here, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. So in other news, yesterday there was talks of basically Trump and China, and long story short, that we were going to hold off on some tariffs and remove some products from the tariff list, which gave the market an extra boost of confidence, which caused a mega move, basically straight shot to the upside, squeezed out a lot of shorts. So anyways, there was a big move in the market yesterday, caused a lot of stocks to rip up. We traded MU yesterday, made a couple $100 trading that. Pretty much any stock you looked at yesterday, right in the beginning of the morning, started to move significantly to the upside, and that was because we've seen that really big market move. And we'll even take a look at that just so you guys have kind of some something to look at in regards to that. So let's get into it. Going to hop into the screen share here in just a second. All right, so here we are. So let's take a look at we'll take a look at the SPY from yesterday. So if you take a look at the SPY, you're going to see that obviously there was just a straight shot up right in the beginning of the morning, right? You can see that big move, pretty much just a boom, straight up, right? No hesitation. And then if we look at any of the stocks from yesterday, right? Look at NVIDIA, look at, MYGN and maybe even AMD. AMD didn't perform that well. Apple, right? Facebook probably did the same. So you can see how market moves can correlate very closely to stock. So, that's one of the reasons why, I always stress watching the overall market, especially when trading large cap, because they like to move in unison, so to speak, and it can really help you determine on what's going to happen with one of your stocks that you're trading or watching. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Coco Grace. How's it going, girl? Alexander, so yeah, the Argentina, Argentina stocks crashed. We traded them the day that they did crash. We went short, even long a couple times, made some money. But yeah, they are something to probably take a look at. I probably should do kind of like an updated video on what happened there. I need to get updated on exactly what's going on over there. But yeah, it's something to consider taking a look at. Just because it crashed doesn't mean that you should just start buying up their stocks. It's not like they're going to recover tomorrow. If it is a true crash in their market, it's going to take 2-3 years for the stocks to most likely rebound. So, whatever you're considering getting over there, just know you'd probably be holding for a while before you're really getting that big upside potential or return on those stocks. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot to put AKTX on the title of this video, but we are going to be taking a look at that one as well. So anyways, let's get into it and let's start. All right. So we're going to start here with Roku. So Roku is going to be the number one stock on my watch list here today. Already shorted it once pre-market for a little bit of money, but going to be following it short bias today. So this is the first kind of gap down day we've had in a while with Roku, which can signify some weakness in the stock. If you look at the daily chart, it's been ripping from basically $100 to 140. So it's up 40 points over the course of like 4 days. We have an inverted hammer candle right at the top here, so that can a lot of times signify a down move is coming. Price action is still pretty extended from the 9 moving average support. We have a gap to fill right here, small gap to fill, and then you have a big gap to fill. So I'd anticipate over today, maybe tomorrow, next couple of days, we're going to come in and we're going to fill this gap down to about 127. So right now I'm kind of seeing at least 4 or 5 points to the downside on Roku. And maybe it's today, maybe we kind of shuffle around today and it's tomorrow, but I think we're getting ready to kind of change that trend for the next 2 days, 3 days. So currently right now just holding 40 shares short. I was short a couple hundred shares earlier pre-market as we started to move lower. So going to be following Roku very closely today for a short bias trade. Okay. So, a couple levels to pay attention to would be, let me shrink this down a bit. So from the other day, we kind of bounced, not kind of, we did. We bounced here on Roku. And I was actually short this move, made some money on the way down, and then got squeezed out pre-market on the remaining shares because I wanted to swing it. So I think it was just a day early on my short swing. So now I'm just day trading. But anyways, this was a pretty important level to pay attention to the other day. Going across this morning, you can see we're kind of hanging out right around that level, but we can't break up and over and hold, and we kind of broke below. So we're kind of chopping this 132 mark. So I'd like to see Roku get below 132 again and start closing below the 132 price point, and that's going to give me a little bit more confidence in the short. And then if you look, I mean, in reality, there isn't really a big structural support system on Roku until you get down to 124. And then there's arguably, kind of this small structure top at about 128, which again would be the gap fill. You can see here, we press up to 128, we hold, then we break over 128, hold, goes long. So if Roku does fall short, we're probably going to see some type of bounce or some type of initial attempt to hold around 128. And if that breaks, then we should just kind of have a straight shot down towards the 124 mark. Again, that would be anticipating that Roku has a pretty big down day. But I think it's very possible. So again, really watching Roku short as long as it holds below this 132 price point today. And so following Roku short. Okay. All right. Now I'll touch on Macy's, and I'm going to touch on these next two pretty quick. So Macy's just basically decided that it just wanted to die today. It got smoked, earnings from 19 down to 16. I think this puts into like a 15-year low. Regardless, so far it looks relatively bearish this morning. So I figure we probably initially follow Macy's short. But I can already get a feel that this might give us kind of a pain in the ass day. By the way, a lot of times like our retail stocks and sometimes these earnings plays get a little choppy and kind of awkward to trade, and then they don't become fun traders. They don't move fluently. They kind of have this squeezy fakiness to them. So as long as Macy's doesn't decide just to be a complete asshole today and actually wants to trade relatively nicely, then at that point I might trade it. But if market opens and it starts to kind of go down and then come back up and then go down and pop around and fake back and forth, then I'll just leave it alone. And I can wholeheartedly tell you I've lost money on some days trying to kind of fight a stock that trades like shit. And then you end up kicking yourself later in the day when you end up resulting in a loss. And then you look and go, why in the hell was I even trading that? And then you kind of learn that you shouldn't do that anymore. So I never find myself trading any stock on the day when it turns into a gross looking stock. And I wish I had just an example of what I could show to you, right now, but I don't. So I guess, follow Macy's a day. And if it starts to kind of go back and forth and get really awkward, just leave it alone. But for now, we're going to follow it short bias. There is one thing that I would mention to pay attention to, and that's going to be the RSI here. Not that it's giving you any like sort of signal or any kind of indication right now. It's starting to possibly. But what I would look for, let's do the 1 minute chart. Well, the 1 minute chart shouldn't change too much. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You could look at the 1 minute, look at the 5 minute, whatever you're most comfortable with. But, watch Macy's. If Macy's continues down, right, continues trading down pre-market and even into the regular trading hours, follow the RSI and look to see if it's creating a bullish divergence. It's already starting to, but if Macy's continues lower and the RSI continues higher, just know that you might be shorting into a move that you shouldn't be shorting into, and you might be very well right around the corner from getting squeezed. So that's kind of what I'm watching to see if this kind of forms into a bullish divergence, because if it does, then I'm probably going to avoid shorting it. And even if it does start forming into a bullish divergence, there's usually still some money to make to the downside. You just got to be a little bit more cautious about it. So anyways, we're following Macy's today. We think it could turn into a good trader. Last one here, and then we're going to go to AKTX, MGYN. Is that the one? MYGN. Yes, Mark. Yeah, MU was pretty solid yesterday. So I started off trading MU pre-market yesterday with 200 shares. Then the market opened and we kind of held and consolidated for the first couple of candles. And then I got long 2,000 shares and it starts to break up. Sold about 1,500 shares on the first kind of initial good push. And then I held 500 shares for a little bit bigger of a gain. And then I meant to only sell 250 and then leave the rest 250 shares on for basically the push to where it went for the final move on the day. Somehow I closed out all my shares, so it kind of did like a fat finger there. So I ended up making about $800 to start the morning yesterday. And then I took a short trade on MU later in the day, gave back 300, and then ended my day up about 450. So all in all, it was still a good day trading, but ended up giving some money back along the way midday. So another one we're going to follow is MYGN. This is another earnings play that's dropped from 46 all the way down to 30. And this is what I meant. Okay, this is a good example of what I meant about Macy's, right? So when you look at MYGN, you're like, wow, this looks like it's just going to keep going down. This looks really good to short. But then you come down here and look at the RSI, and you'll notice that the momentum is picking up, right? Right. The momentum going down, right? You can see the price action's moving lower, but on each move lower, the momentum, excuse me, is less and less to the downside, right? The momentum down is less and less, creating an uptrend in momentum, which a lot of times can be an early indication of a reversal that's going to come. Another good example, another good example would be V-Ray. Let me show you this real fast. V-Ray. And I actually meant to get long on this, just didn't do it. But there was a couple indications we were going to bounce a little bit here, maybe even continue. So if we go over the past 5 days. Was that it? Yeah. So if you look here, right, like V-Ray goes down, then it kind of bounces. And even here, there's one, right? Because like, look at, right, it's going down, goes into a new low, tries to go in. Like this whole period, watch this. Like, let me get my other tool on. Take these drawings off. Or like even on V-Ray, you can see it was kind of going down, we're kind of trending lower there and then kind of flat, right? And that whole period, look at the momentum. Like that could be signifying that bounce, okay? And then you can see we go from this low to that low. You can see this is a new low. So even here we were kind of trending down, right? Like we're trending down a little bit from pre-market to here. And meanwhile, we still have a bullish divergence where we're starting to trend up. And the next day, we kind of turn into a little bit of a long, right? So you can kind of see that, right? You're trending down, momentum's up, and you can kind of see we kind of go into a little bit of a bounce. And there was also a candlestick pattern to follow, which was basically this nice gap down, and this candle closed within the body of this candle. A lot of times that can signify an up move. And same thing vice versa when you get, a strong candle up, like it's in an up. So this is it. If it's in a downtrend and you have like a candle like this, and then the daily candle closes within the body of the previous candle, and a downtrend can signify a move to the upside the next day. And vice versa, if it's stock trending up and then red candle closes within the green candle, it can signify a downtrend. But anyways, enough on that. So we're going to move over to AKTX now. All right, so if you look at AKTX, let me zoom out. It doesn't look like anything here, but if you go to a 4-hour chart, you're going to see it's starting to push. So we first kind of looked at this all the way down here. This is when I first noticed AKTX. I didn't get long, generally because I'm not a huge fan of getting long like right in the beginning of the day on penny stocks like this, because more oftentimes than not, they kind of falter out and become shitty. But after about this time frame when it started to stay up, that's where I started to get a little bit more interested in the stock. Because if you look, it's already traded. This morning it's probably traded close to 1 million. Yeah, so now it's traded 1.4 million shares of volume. So it's not bad. That's actually a little bit much now. It would have been nice if it kind of just hung out right here and didn't make this move. But again, we hardly ever get exactly what we want when it comes to the market. So following AKTX today is a good idea. There is some news about some FDA fast track designation for one of their drugs. It doesn't really matter. Stock's still shitty. just because they got an FDA fast track. It doesn't matter. Stock's garbage. If it weren't garbage, it wouldn't be trading at $3 anyways. Let me show you an example of something where very, very far and few between you get a penny stock to actually become something good. Okay, so this is your like unicorn example. Here's ENPH from $3 to 32. That's a good stock. This is something I'm following long term, right? From 3 to 32, right? Penny stocks hardly ever become a well-known or reputable stock. So when you see a stock go from 3 to 32, you clearly know it came from a penny stock, it became something better. That's something good to follow, right? And then you go look at AKTX. Clearly, this is not a good stock. It just trades flat, and then it has its occasional pump news like today, AKTX Therapeutics surges 45% pre-bell because of fast-track designation, FDA something drug approval, blah, 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 bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit, right? So we don't really pay too much attention to that. We just pay attention to it in regards for the day. This will probably be kind of pump news. It might run today, might have a 2-day run, but other than that, you don't invest into it. You just trade it. So we'll be following it long today. We'll see how it performs. And all we can do is hope for the best that this turns into a good trading stock in the day. I will mention this, though. It hasn't really put in any significant pre-market support level. So we have yet to really have like a crazy support level. And something to watch for, generally, if a stock is going to become a big runner on the day, and when I say big runner, I don't mean that the stock spikes and then it crashes and then it kind of spikes again. I'm talking about stock goes up, kind of pulls back, goes up again, pulls back, goes up again, pulls back, something like that. When they do that, what they tend to do, like more oftentimes than not, if you're onto a really good running stock for the day, it's going to push up. It's going to, it doesn't matter. It's going to put in a high a day, right? And then it usually kind of pulls back, does something, right? And then it goes higher. And then if it pulls back again and it holds right there, right above the previous high, or holds on the previous high and bounces again into a new high, and then it pulls back and holds above the previous high. Basically, if it continues to put in a new high of day and pull back and hold right above the previous high of day, a lot of times that stock can just continue running on the day. So watch AKTX to see if it trends nicely, has a nice move, and then it starts to continuously hold above the previous high of day. A lot of times you'll be onto a good running stock. Might as well take a look at something here. Give me a second. I need to pop on FinViz real fast. So, you know, it doesn't have a really big short float. The float's about 9 million, maybe less. I'm not honestly entirely sure. The shares outstanding are still, you know, about 18, 19 million. So relatively a good amount of shares outstanding. So, you know, normally when you see numbers like this, you shouldn't expect like a BPTH. Doesn't mean it can't run and have a great move, but don't expect like RKDA, LFIN, BPTH type moves. You know, it's not going to be like a supernova where it runs to like 30 or something like that. It doesn't have the characteristics right now. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on, sorry, I'm just reading a couple comments here. Kern, I remember Kern. I think we traded Kern. Let's see. At 11? Ah, this is one of those. Yeah. I'll pass. I can't do it. So yeah, anyways. keep an eye on AKTX today. Keep an eye on Roku. Let's see what Roku's doing. Haven't seen it for a second. Let's see. So it's moving. Yeah, it hasn't really moved much. Still hanging out in the same spot, really. Yeah, BABA reports tomorrow. Is OSTK a good buy again? So if you look at OSTK, I don't know enough about this too much to speak too deeply on it, but OSTK is moving their business model into, something to do with cryptocurrency. So now that they're becoming deeply tied within like the cryptocurrency movement, their price of their stock tends to trade somewhat in unison to the price of Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin's trading well, OSTK is trading well, and when it's not trading well, then OSTK is not trading well. And what you'll come to find is that Bitcoin just kind of went through like an overnight or maybe like a 2-day pullback or something. So OSTK is starting to see a sell-off. Is it a good buy again? Honestly, no, I wouldn't be buying it right now. After we had the earnings move, which turned into a really bullish engulfing setup that failed, I wouldn't really be adamant about buying it right now. I'd give it a little bit more time myself personally. Have I ever traded European stocks? Yeah, I've traded European stocks. Anytime you're looking at a stock on TD Ameritrade, that even trades on the U.S. markets. Anytime you look at a stock and it says ADR next to it, it stands for, or it basically means that the stock that you're trading is not located in America. It's actually from another country. So for those of you, when you guys trade BABA, you're actually trading a Chinese ADR stock within the U.S. markets. So when you trade BABA, you're actually really trading a Chinese company. When you trade AMRN, Therapeutics, I believe that country's out of Europe. I don't know I don't know specifically what country, but was it German? It might have been German. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I figured that out. But like, look at, you see AMRN, you see this. So you look at the title here, and you see how it says ADR. That means you're trading a company that's not located in America. So if we would go and look at where is AMRN located, let's see. Looks like AMRN is, no, I gotta do some more research on that, but I'm pretty sure they're not directly located out of America. Anyways, I'll do some more research on that. But yeah, generally look, when it says ADR, usually the company is like founded out of like some other country. That's what I've come to find. 1 second. Let me pull this back up. Lost one. Lost one. Your questions. Do I ever look at fundamentals for your trades? No, not really, because in regards to trading is such a quick-paced thing that changes so rapidly. The fundamentals, it doesn't really matter. I mean, well, yes and no. So if you're doing like a longer term trade, then yeah, fundamentals are going to play a role. But if you're doing a shorter term day trade, then no, fundamentals really don't matter, because if a fundamentals of a company, right, if they made $100 billion today, nobody's going to know they made $100 billion today. So that like today, say for some reason Apple made $100 billion today, that will not reflect the price of the stock as of right now, because nobody would know they made $100 billion a day, other than maybe the insiders, in which maybe they'd start buying the stock. But you know what I'm saying? So fundamentals are something that go long term. News catalysts, yeah, news catalysts matter. You're absolutely right. Where are my glasses? I think they're downstairs right now. Should you buy puts for Macy's? I don't know. I have no idea. If you feel comfortable buying puts for Macy's, then buy puts for Macy's. Is Macy's going to go down today? I really don't know. Is Macy's going to go up today? I really have no idea. the best way you can get an idea for that is tracking price action, right? Price action can change rapidly. So again, you got to ask yourself, if you're going to be trading Macy's as a day trade, then yeah, follow the chart. You might find a good short opportunity. Are you following Macy's for a short long term? If so, then you're going to want to look into the fund. You could grab a put a year out, right? You could grab a put out. If you think Macy's going to go down, grab a put 1 year out. Am I going to trade Macy's today? Probably not. I'd say you're probably better off following Roku for a play than you would be Macy's for a play if you're trying to do something short, because there's probably more a bigger move that would happen on Roku than would happen on Macy's, right? So when it comes to trading, it's all about picking and choosing what you want to trade and why you want to trade it. So you always have to understand why you're trading, what you want to trade, and why you're going to be trading. If you don't understand that, then again, you probably don't want to be taking a trade. Yep, I negotiated lower prices on TD Ameritrade. Any word on HUYA? I actually looked at HUYA earlier today, but I didn't. When I looked at it this morning, I didn't really, put too much thought into it. I think I was more on the short side initially, because you can kind of see it came into this top right here. So initially, I was kind of like, yeah, I'd probably be short on that. Did I really want to trade it? So I don't know. It hasn't moved too much. Hasn't really given me the idea that it's going to be a great trader on the day. But it did give back the gains from its earnings push. What did the earnings report? Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't even trade this. I'd probably pass on that, honestly. Oh, TRNX. Yeah, I remember that one pushed yesterday. I actually traded TRNX yesterday, small trade. Oh, wow. That came all the way back. Interesting. No, I wouldn't trade TRNX today. It's not worth it. It's probably going to, it'll flutter around. Probably won't have much more than that. It hit 95 cents. I mean, it could go back up to like 95 cents. It could, but yeah, you pretty much missed the trade there. You should avoid that now. Trade was yesterday, not today. Trade was the day before, yesterday, not today. Today's where the latecomers come in that miss the move, hoping for another good day, which usually doesn't come. So this is the day to avoid. Don't be a trader on that. But yeah, that's basically all I have. And actually, I wonder if this did a fib bounce. No, arguable. Here it goes. What do you know? Perfect. So there you go, guys. Yeah, for those of you that seen the Fibonacci retracement videos that I just did recently, that only have, if you guys watch those, and you should have been able to kind of spot a Fibonacci trade on this. I traded a scalp bounce here, and then I was actually waiting for a bounce play, but I ended up obviously quitting trading by then because this is 1050. I got it about 1030. But yeah, there's a perfect example of a Fibonacci trade even on this, right? Impulsive move up, measure that move, 60% retracement bounce, runs right into the 127 extension, falls short. Now let's see if we can go this way. Jesus, come on. Yeah, so far on this leg down, it's held just below the 1.6. Yeah, that's 68% retracement. Let's see if it's already done. This right here is probably the tag on the 127 extension. Yeah, so that's the tag on the 127 extension. So now you're on to a new leg. So really got to find out which way this moves. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I probably wouldn't trade TRNX today. Nope, the private group's not waiting for it. Well, yeah, I do have to head back now, so I'm going to get ready to head out. But while I'm on YouTube, one of our other team admins, Brandon, takes care of our private chat room. So when I do YouTube, He's on our private group running over his watch list, and he has a very different style of trading than I do. Actually far more technical in terms of trend lines, supports, and resistance. So he walks through his whole watch list with our private group while I'm on here doing YouTube. So anyways, with that being said, guys, take care. Have a great day. Hope you guys learned something new today. And as always, feel free to join our trading team. Pretty affordable. Again, all links in the description. You got Facebook groups. You have free chat rooms. Again, pretty much we provide anything you need to get involved in trading. All in the links in the description of the video. Other than that, guys, take care. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning for another stream. Everybody, see ya.